way of a formal introduction, Blake Outlaw from Goodrich Realty,
Mhm.
serving the great state of Texas and focused in on the Austin area. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, we're in Austin today. We've got some operations in Dallas. We'll be expanding into Colorado in February. So we're super excited about the growth trajectory we're on as a company. Yeah.
Fantastic. Oh, that's great. We are also um, in line to be licensed in Colorado shortly.
Mhm.
We are currently licensed Arizona, California, Florida, and Texas.
Okay.
And Texas is about 95% of my business.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's where my focus has been, and Christopher there too. And but next, I think by the end of this month, we'll be licensed in Georgia and then Tennessee,
Mhm.
Oregon, then Colorado. So
Nice. Nice.
And
those have kind of
Missouri.
been the hot spots.
Those are good markets to be in for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Well, Blake, tell us a little bit about, as Christopher mentioned, this really is to help spotlight your work that you do. And can you tell us a little bit about how long you've been in the business and
Yeah.
what made you jump in?
Yeah. I'll start with what made me jump in. I was headed down the path of becoming an accountant. I was going to be an auditor in grad school here at the University of Texas, and took a real estate course and took it from a guy who I really, really enjoyed learning from. And he was more of a practitioner than he was an academic. And so he walked me through some of the practical ways that real estate affects everyone's lives. And I fell in love with that concept. He pointed me towards new home sales. And so I started my career right out of college. The exact opposite of public accounting is new home sales. And so uh,
Right.
had a sales job, was naturally gifted in a great way. Had some early success in new home sales, and along that journey, I recognized that there's a need in the real estate agent space for someone who understands and knows and works a lot with some of the bigger builders. And so that's been my journey,
Mm.
my career. Along the way, I've worked with a couple of companies that develop some financial products that support our business, but at the end of the day, we're really a new home builder focused brokerage. Yep.
Wow. No, that's great. And so been in it for X amount of years now?
30 years. So I started got my license in 94. And so, from there, new home sales for a bit and then back to the real estate business, formally as a real estate broker agent, team leader in 2004. And so
Hmm.
20 years have been somewhat singularly focused on helping people buy and sell homes.
That's beautiful.
Fantastic. Wow, a lot of experience there.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
beautiful.
Yeah, I think we've helped. I personally probably helped. My best guess is probably 2,500 families move over my career. So, as you guys know, you've been doing this a long time. You understand your world and the lending world. Like you get that many reps under your belt, and you get to a space where you can solve problems before they exist. And
Right.
that has been really a proactive approach to layer in more and more solutions to all the problems we run into when somebody's trying to buy a home, particularly if they're trying to sell and buy at the same time. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I just have one other thought there with regards to builders and all that. Are you seeing quite a bit of um, inventory in the area there and a lot of new builds?
There is a lot of inventory, and that's I think for a couple of reasons. One, builders need to start homes, build homes, and sell homes at a certain run rate in order to cash flow their business. And a lot of the builders that over the last, 10, 15 years, there've been some acquisitions and we went from, 25 years ago, there were regional or local builders, and now there are national builders. And these national builders have tons of capital and they can weather downturns in the market and are really tough to compete with. I would compare it maybe analogous to your small town, auto parts store that, sells auto parts to local people. And all of a sudden you've got Napa and Walmart and all the other vendors, big players that come into town, and it makes
Oh
it,
yeah.
they end up gobbling up all the volume. And so that's functionally what's happened here. Consequently, in this market, the downturn, they still need to build homes to make money. And so they're starting a lot of homes and they're not selling as quick as they'd like. And so that's increased inventory. We've also seen a very notable shift in sort of the makeup of what is being purchased in the Austin market. We historically, new home sales represented 22 to 24% of the market. So 1 in 4 homes that were sold were brand new construction. That's been the case for, gosh, the 20 or so years I've been accurately
Wow.
and regularly tracking that. Over the last 2 years, we've seen that number jump to as high as 45%.
Wow.
So almost 1 in 3, 1 in 2, nearly 1 in 2, but more than 1 in 3 of the homes that sell are brand new construction. I believe the reason is when rates went from 3% to 8%, the resale buyer
Yeah.
had a really tough time selling, and the builders
Hmm.
could and still do and probably will for the foreseeable future, according to the presidents of these companies that I talked to, be able to incentivize the consumer with discounted interest rates. So forward commitment,
Absolutely.
buy downs, closing cost incentives. There are things they can do sort of outside the transaction to manipulate interest rates that give them a distinct competitive advantage over the resale market.
Wow.
So we're seeing and it's bode well for us because we do focus a lot on helping our builders sell more homes, and as a result, we've sort of been in the sweet spot and have had a lot of success with the programs that we offer.
That's beautiful. You guys are doing that. Did you guys have to make a big adjustment when and pivot from everything that happened after COVID?
Um, yeah, I mean, we saw, the problems are still the same, right? Functionally, they just became intensified. And during the COVID era, um, you almost had to be a cash buyer in order to compete.
True.
A good friend of mine had a listing down the street from my house. It was listed for 1.2 million. It went on the market on a Thursday, and this was probably in 2021, summer of 21. And I called him on Monday after he listed and said, "Hey, how was your weekend activity?" He goes, "We got 17 offers. We had 3 cash offers and 14 non-contenders." And so the way he positioned that and the way he said that led me to believe that, you kind of have to be a cash or a non-contingent or have a really strong lender pre-approval letter during the pandemic era in order to
Mhm.
compete. So we worked really hard to eliminate contingencies for our clients, whether it's financing or home to sell contingencies, and develop some financial solutions to do that. And then as rates rose, we've had to pivot back again. It went from
Hmm.
it's really really easy to sell homes, it's hard to buy them. So enabling our buyers to be
Right.
competitive. To now we've sort of flipped the script to, how do we help our sellers be more competitive in a market where there's a lot of inventory, they're competing with the builders. So the resale listing side has been a challenge, but in any challenge, there are always solutions, and we have tapped into and endeavored to leverage those solutions to help our sellers sell their homes for top dollar.
That's beautiful.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
exciting. The other kind of a side question to that too is, um, are you seeing with the incentives that are being offered from the builder, and then essentially as you offer them to buyers, are you seeing um, you know 15, 20, $25,000 as pretty steady? Because I'm
It's
seeing
more,
those amounts for buy downs a lot and closing
yeah, it's
costs.
probably more than that. When you peel back
Wow.
the layers of the onion, and I have very direct conversations with a handful of the builders. Oftentimes have their in-house lender, they own a mortgage company, they've got a
Yeah.
JV. You
Yeah,
know, there's a little bit of a shell game there. We won't go down that path, but
sure.
there is. So I do get to visit with them about what are builders actually spending to buy
Hmm.
down rates. And if a builder has a finished inventory home that's been finished for 30 days and they really want to get it off their books, I'm finding they're going to throw anywhere between 5 and 8, maybe 10 points
Wow.
toward
Wow.
interest rate. A lot of that's
Mhm.
sort of outside the transaction, so it doesn't show up on the settlement statement, but in the form of forward commitments. I mean, the money that
Right.
builders are spending on forward commitments is um, it's really impeding their profitability, and they all collectively want to quit, but until one of them does, and until a three of them do. And so my hope for them, to regain sort of a profitable business on a transactional basis, and to ease some of the pain that they're causing on my resale sellers would be,
Right.
when rates come down, which they have, we've
Yeah.
seen from this, low eights to, hovering just above six today. Um,
Yeah,
it's taking a lot of the pressure because they don't have to go as far in the buy down. Um,
that's right.
and and as those incentive dollars or those dollars that are being sort of put towards interest rate go down, it probably levels the playing field between the resale and the new home market. So
Yeah, it
they
does.
probably won't
Yeah.
do that until they have enough sales to check the box that they're happy with the sales
Yeah.
numbers. But and that may be, talking to a regional president of the fourth or fifth largest home builder in North America just last Wednesday. She's anticipating that's going to be late 2027, early 2028 before
Yeah.
that goes away. I'm I walk into most rooms, and maybe this is kind of a teaser for where we're headed in the mindset of a champion. I walk into most rooms
Oh,
with
we like that. Yeah.
unicorns and rainbows. Meaning I'm an optimist at heart, and so I'm optimistic that rates are coming down. I'm hopeful that they continue to move in the direction they've been moving for the last 4, 5, 6 months, and that we land in a spot where a typical consumer can look. Maybe they've got a home to sell and they're at 3%. I've
Mhm.
got a, of course, I'm in this boat. I've got a 2.99% interest rate. I've got 50% equity in my home. I'm a prime candidate to make a move until I look at what it's going to cost me to buy a similar home in a similar neighborhood
Yeah.
down the way.
Exactly.
Right? And so
Hmm.
I feel stuck. And I think there's a lot of consumers that feel that. But as rates come down to where that gap is not so untenable,
Mhm.
uh,
Yep.
I think we're going to see a flourishing in the real estate market, both for folks that do what you all do and folks that do what I do. I think there's going to be a lot of transactional volume that'll come online when, at the end of the day, the consumer can afford to move.
True.
So, yeah,
Very
we're
insightful.
yeah. So I think that'll happen. I hope that'll happen sooner than 2028. But between now and then, I can confidently say, and you all are in the trenches alongside me, day in and day out. I am confident that there's never been a better time to buy a home in Austin, Texas than today. And I'm not just saying that because most realtors say that, hey, it's a great time to buy. It's a great time. They're trying to get people excited about buying, but I like legitimately would say that to my sister, my cousin, my aunt, my mom and dad. You've never seen a better time to buy a home than today.
Yes.
Prices are down because of interest rates. Prices are going to
Hmm.
go up when the market sort of corrects on the interest rate side. And those that are buying a home today are going to look back and they're going to realize that they were really smart to do so. I'm not saying that to get people off the fence and get them into the trenches to buy homes,
Right.
but there's a lot of people that really need to buy homes. They've sent their kids off to college like myself. They've got new kids in the family. They've got, a new marriage. They've got, maybe they're going through divorce.
Yep.
So a loved one. All those historical reasons why somebody would move still exist. I mean, humans are still humans and life still happens.
Yes, it
Right.
does.
Because of that, a lot of people have felt hampered by the cost of moving, and
Hmm.
that gap, that pain has to be really significant to overcome the cost today. And when the
Yeah.
cost is lower, those that feel the uneasiness about the fact that their kids are off to college and they're in a 4,300 square foot home are going to figure out, okay, it's time to move now because I can afford to do it. So,
Yeah.
I guess
Very
the
true.
question
Absolutely.
for you guys, and I know you're asking me all the questions, but my question for
No,
you,
that's perfect.
when are we going to see rates at sub 6?
Oh, well,
And
you know
I know
what?
this is
I
being
can tell you.
recorded, so
Yeah,
there's some
this will go out to the world.
yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yep.
I can tell you right now, I just locked a 5.75 on a
Mhm.
purchase in Dallas,
Okay.
and A paper, of
Right.
course.
Right. Yep.
No,
Mhm.
no buy down. They wanted to use
Wow.
all their closing costs. Yeah, they wanted to use all their closing cost concessions to cover those costs. And so we are seeing it in certain situations with certain buyers right now.
Yep.
But yeah, you're right. It's hovering right about 6.
6.3.
I'm still seeing 5.99, but
Mhm.
um, the buy down is not that bad either. At
Right.
5.375,
Uh-huh.
maybe 1,500-ish for the buy down. So we're seeing some buyers make some pretty wise uh, decisions on the
Yep.
buy downs even.
Hmm.
And you know I was talking to Christopher just the other day on this. We had a buyer that took advantage of, they were income heavy, making
Hmm.
good money, but down payment poor.
Right.
And we put them into, first time home buyer, down payment assistance, completely forgivable.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, with all the closing cost that we could, legally go up to, which was 6%,
Hmm.
we they ended up getting their keys and a $4,000 rebate check. They
Wow.
walked into that house with zero money
That's
down,
fantastic.
which I
Yep.
hadn't seen that in a
Yeah.
long time on our side of
Yep.
the lending.
Yep.
But so there are some pretty optimistic and hopeful buyers out there that, like you said, some of them they've just been waiting, sitting on the fence and wondering, gosh, when's a good time to buy? Should I wait till the rates continue to go down? Well,
Right.
as you said, no.
Nope.
No.
Now is the time to buy. If you can afford it and you're
Yep.
financially ready to go and you got the house you want, now get it
Yep.
now so
Well,
you
I mean,
don't look back with regret.
the logic here, I think, is pretty easy to follow. Prices came down when rates went up. So if you're going to wait until rates come back down, what's going to happen to prices? Like, I mean, that's like
That's right.
there's not a whole lot of
It-
complex math behind that.
Mhm.
So if you can buy now before the rest of the world figures out it's a great time to buy, I mean, why wouldn't you? So that's
Spot on.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
I know that's part of what we want to cover is, what's going on out there in the market. And
Yeah,
that's part of it. I mean, there are a lot of people that are going to wake up and wish they'd bought in Q4 of 2025. So
absolutely.
Very
And
true.
those that didn't, yeah, they're going to be, just a side point. Someone asked me the other day, what's what's it like sitting on the fence? I said, well,
yeah.
number one, it's painful. You ever tried to sit on a fence? It hurts. It's
Yep.
uncomfortable. It's unsettling. It's,
Yep.
you're constantly doing this to try to stay on it.
Yep. Yep.
And so, anyways, it just that visual literally got asked that yesterday. And I
Yeah.
says, let's get you pre-approved. Let's see what you qualify for. And it turns out they qualify for price point between 500 and 600. They'll get a nice piece of property. So
Yeah.
get them off that fence if it makes sense.
That's it.
Yep. Yep.
That's it.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Yeah. So I mean that's what I'm seeing out there. That's sort of the mindset of most of the consumers that we talk to day in and day out is, you know, rates are a big part of the conversation. And once we get them to where they can look past that, they're able to effectively make decisions that they're going to be really glad they did.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of our reason, why we do these type of podcasts, and it is entitled "The Mindset of a Champion." But more importantly, is the second part of that question: what sets you apart?
Mhm.
Because we know there's thousands and thousands of loan officers, there's thousands and thousands of realtors and
Yep.
people helping and representing, but also representing sellers. So what we want to do is really showcase you and what sets you apart, besides your incredible knowledge of 30 years,
Mhm.
and you've shared a
Mhm.
lot of that. But, when it comes to your daily routine,
Mhm.
how
Mhm.
does having that mindset of a champion
Yep.
affect your daily routine?
Yeah, it's ironic that you asked that question today because tomorrow I get on a plane to go back to Toronto for another session with my coach, and I have a business coach there. Big plug for Strategic Coach. It's a fantastic program for those
Oh,
entrepreneurs.
wow.
That's fun.
But a gentleman by the name of Dan Sullivan is my coach, and I
Hmm.
refer to him lovingly as coach. But coach tells me the number one way to build momentum, and I think champions. You watch any game, and I'm a Texas Longhorn fan, so like this last
Yeah.
week didn't get to see much of this happen, but the idea of momentum. I mean, the best time to score another touchdown is right after you scored one. The best
Mhm.
time to
Absolutely.
get another sack is right after you've had one, and those small wins lead to momentum. And so, as a company, what we do is we measure backwards, and this is something I picked up from Dan in his great book called The Gap and the Gain. We measure,
I like that.
meaning we look back and we measure all the wins, and there's two types of wins. There's wins like, hey, we sold another home, we helped another family, we originated another loan for you all. And the second type of win is a learning lesson. These are the things that
Mhm.
some people might call a loss, but we look at it as another win. When we have a lesson learned, we improve upon that. And so I think our mindset going forward has a lot of confidence and a lot of momentum because we consistently look backwards and measure all the wins, all the ways that we won for our clients, all the ways that we one by learning a new lesson and getting better at our craft. Those are the things that build momentum and a positive attitude that roll forward. So every night I write down my 3 wins of the day. Uh,
Ooh,
every
like
morning
that.
I get up and I look at that list, and there's something I believe that happens subconsciously when you go to bed with a mindset of gratitude and you count your wins,
Yeah.
that you wake up in the morning, I think really propelled almost. Like I sort of leap out of bed in the
Shoot
morning.
out of bed. Yeah.
Yeah, ready to go because I know that there's more wins ahead of us today. And when I can lead the team to think that way, amazing things happen. When we can look back and count all of our wins and be grateful for the blessing that it is to be in our business, I don't think there's anything that can stop us. I mean, we've all been through stuff. My wife had breast cancer 20 some odd years ago.
Mm,
I think every one of us has a part of our story where we've been through tough stuff.
yeah.
And nobody's journey to success doesn't include some bumps on the road. And I can look back at those bumps and I can say they're the absolute best things that happened to me, and I can be thankful for them. And when I can do that, I mean, and my wife and I, we talked about this, years over the 20 some odd years that we've been married, is we walked through cancer together. There's nothing that's going to stop us. And so there's
Yeah.
nothing. So I think, the mindset of the champion isn't mustering up the courage to be great. It's looking back at all the life experiences and saying, hey, this is what's formed me into who I am today. And
The
they're all,
journey.
and those
Yeah.
wins, when you can count them as wins, will propel you forward with a confidence. And that confidence creates, drive and clarity and like all the things that you look for in a champion. At the end of the day, what a champion sets out at the first day of a season is to get to the end of the season and have the ring on their finger or the belt
That's
on
right.
their wrist or the crown on their head or whatever it is that they're looking for, the green jacket. I'm a golfer. So like
There
those
you
are the
go.
things that you look forward to, but those things don't happen because between here and there, you figured it out.
Yeah.
Like you only get to that place because you've already figured out the things you figured out because the life experiences that have come your way have shaped you into the person you are today. And that's what's equipped you perfectly for what comes tomorrow. And when you see it
Mhm.
that way, it's amazing what happens. You don't have to push. You don't have to be something you're not. You can rest in the fact that you're exactly who you are, exactly where you are, headed exactly where you're supposed to go. And you can do so with confidence.
Man, Blake, that's
That's
pretty
beautiful.
inspiring. That's
Yeah.
beautiful, man. And I
Thanks.
feel like that's really empowering too. You have a lot of wisdom. Just listening, I appreciate just being able to hear the words of wisdom that you've either gone through or just the experiences that you've had to this point.
Yep.
And obviously, many can benefit from those words and really the lessons that you've learned in the past. And obviously, we can't be in your shoes, but we can actually ask the question. So,
Yeah.
what advice would you offer to other realtors or even small business owners to be able to stay successful?
Yeah. Um, I mean, it starts with measuring backwards. Like look back over the last 24 hours, look back over the last 7 days, look back over the last month, the last quarter, the last year. Like look back at all the wins. And if it may take you a while, it may take a minute to look and see the lessons learned and the actual wins. But when you focus on that, when you spend time doing that, it will propel you forward, and it builds sort of this mental and this emotional momentum that I think is key to carry you through a day because what we do is really hard. What
Hmm.
you what you guys are walking through in the lending industry is really, really hard. Like if you
True.
look at the doom and gloom and the big picture of the real estate markets in the gutter, yeah, maybe somebody can think that, but I see opportunity everywhere I turn. And I only see that because I've looked backwards and seen what I've been through before. I mean, this is my third, real estate cycle, if you will, like big downturn
Hmm.
that I've experienced. And like the last two didn't kill me or take me out. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to make it through this one. And I'm just finding, the opportunity. So I think to answer your question, if advice to realtors, advice to small business owners, don't listen to the noise.
Hmm.
Focus on the opportunity that's in front of you and just get after it. I mean, like look back, gain some momentum, look at the opportunity in front of you and just make it happen. There's no reason not to. I don't know. I used to. I mean, I'm officing in a WeWork location. If you're familiar with WeWork, it's like a co-working
Yeah.
space. I
Hmm.
Yeah.
intentionally don't pay for office space for my agents because what I found, especially in really really tough markets, whether even 2022 for us was actually a tough market, believe it or not. Lots of
Oh,
homes were
yeah.
selling. I mean, but we had clients that were making offer after offer after offer, and they were missing out on opportunity. Same thing today. We have seller after seller after seller who are just waiting for that buyer to come along. But um, what happens when you gather around the water coolers with a bunch of other industry folks
Yes.
is that mindset creep, and it's the voices, it's the guy that's selling an ad on a website or YouTube or wherever it is. He's trying to get eyeballs on whatever he's selling, and he does so through creating a story and a narrative that's just probably not true.
Yeah.
And so
Hmm.
don't listen to the lies and find the opportunity to go pursue it. I mean, it's like, I mean, it sounds really simple, but I mean, there's the toughest 6 inches to overcome are those between your ears. And
Yeah.
I just think, when you invited me to be on this podcast, the fact that it starts with the word mindset is like, I knew you were speaking my language. And so
Yeah.
Yeah.
the mindset is key. And learn some lessons. Go try some things. Don't be afraid of failing. Like any entrepreneur that has, I mean, you look at, you read Elon Musk's story, you read, I mean, Jeff
Yep.
Bezos' story, like all of these stories, every single one of them tried things and they failed miserably. And that
And
has
many times.
and many times. And they all look
Hmm.
back to the failures. Like you don't win your way to success. There's no way to win your way to success. You only lose your way to success. So
And oftentimes it's a learning experience that we're able to go through going to those different situations. And I appreciate you mentioned that's kind of a unique position to be in, three turns of market for real estate.
yep.
Looking back, just with the mindset that you already have at this point and trying to get into your mind, looking back at the last two, you're going through another one now. Where's your mindset now as you
Yeah.
move forward?
Yeah. That it's never as good as they say. And I don't know who they are, but I think a lot of people listen
We
to
always
them.
say them, they.
Yeah. It's never as good as they say. It's never as bad as they say. No matter how good the market is or how bad the market is or how much of a buyer's market or how much of a seller's market, homes sell, people move, life happens. The way I look at it, I
But
mean, and I'll tip a hat to my faith, but like I believe in 7 days God created the earth, and there was a certain amount of real estate, and He hasn't created any more since then.
Hmm.
And behind that, we seem to be procreating and relocating at a pace that's up and to the right. I mean, population growth. So if we keep adding more humans and we don't have any more land, simple supply and demand says that over time, real estate is going to be a great investment.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, just looking at it very pragmatically, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's going to be ebbs and flows and dips, and rates are going to go up, rates are going to go down. The mortgage meltdown of 2008, the tech bust
Yep.
of 2001, 9/11. I mean, all the things that happen externally. At the end of the day, in 2020 or in 2009,
Hmm.
this is a fun story. So that was a tough time. I know if you were in the industry at the time, that was
Yep.
a fairly difficult time for us to operate.
Sure was.
And I sat around the table with my team, and I think there were just 12 of us at the time. And we were talking about our annual goals. This was January 23rd of 2009. I remember the day. And you would have thought, like I was asking people, all right, what are we going to do this year? And the negativity and, oftentimes fueled by the media, fueled by what the other friends are saying at the water cooler in the office, you would have thought I had taken their firstborn child. Like they were all in the dumps. It was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to sell any more houses. I'm like, okay, let's just have a quick reset. And the conversation was like, how many homes do you want to sell? Like dream, like push, push, push. How many homes do you want to sell in 2009? Went around the table. Everybody shared a number. I wrote the numbers down. I got a calculator out. I added the numbers up. I said, all right, we're going to sell, I forget the number. Let's say it was 400 homes in a year. I said, okay, we're going to sell 400 homes this year. How many homes do you think are going to sell in the Austin, Texas market in 2009? And I had some pretty good data that said that we were probably going to see 30,000 transactions. So, okay, cool.
Wow.
Let's go get our 400 and let's let every one of these other realtors with a negative mindset scrap out the other 29,600 sales that are going to happen. And we did. And we ended up being ranked the number one real estate team on a productivity basis in the Austin market, and according to the
Wow.
Austin Business Journal in February of 2010.
Incredible
And I think it all sparked from that one conversation, which was a mindset of, I don't care
mindset.
what's going on out there. Go get your more than your fair share and do the work to get there. So
That's awesome,
Beautiful.
Blake. What's as I look back and I hear all these you know insightful words and our conversation today, I heard a lot of things about um, making sure that we have the right mindset, the mindset of that champion, a
yep.
winner that not just focuses on the W in the
Right.
column, but the journey. Focus on the journey, the failures, everything it
Yeah.
took to get to where we're at today to help more people. And
Yep.
at the end of the day, we treasure folks like yourself who've been in the trenches for many, many years, been
Mhm.
through cycles, as you've
Yep.
said, and yet
Yep.
you're still here to share your, what worked, what didn't, and what you're currently doing to inspire others on your team. So we're grateful to have had
Thanks.
you here today. Yeah, we really look forward to sharing more opportunities with you. And one thing I think will be very interesting is, and Christopher, I think you'd agree, if we could take you with us, all expense paid, of course, back to United Wholesale Mortgage, UWM. There
Hmm.
is a 1 day realtor class that
Hmm.
is centered not just on realtors, but builders. There's
Hmm.
builders from all over the country in this 1 day class to
Hmm.
network, to hear new loan programs and things like that. But we'd love
Hmm.
to have you as our
Oh,
guest for that if that
that'd be
works
an
into
honor.
your
Yeah.
schedule.
Yeah. 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 I'd love to know more.
Yeah, we can
Thanks.
tell
Thanks
you.
for the invite. Yeah, that's pretty impressive that you guys are part of that type of environment that is bringing people together to collaborate and share ideas and network. So yeah,
Yeah.
very
Thank
impressive.
you. We do. We go back every quarter. We take our team back there, and this
Mhm.
last time we took about 45 realtors with
Wow.
us from all over the
Yeah.
country,
Mm.
Hmm.
and they come back. I don't know if you're familiar with UWM,
Oh
but
yeah. Yeah.
okay, the
Yep.
owner, Matt Ishbia, owner of
Uh-huh.
the Phoenix Suns as well. He, I just love when he speaks directly to us
Mhm.
because he just, time is short. He does time blocks in 10-minute increments. You need a
Hmm.
meeting with him, 10 minutes. In fact, 9:58. What do you got?
Yep.
Say
Yep.
something interesting, and we'll keep talking,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
But Christopher, will keep you posted on that too. We'd love
Yeah.
to have you
Please
back as
do.
our guest
Yep.
there. And
Yeah.
but thank you so much for joining
Yeah.
us today.
You're
We're
Thank you,
welcome.
and
Blake.
Can I close with one
this
thought?
podcast. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
of course, please.
Sorry. I know you're wrapping
No,
us
no,
up
no,
and I
no
could talk for
problem.
days. But here's the thing. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And I don't think that either of you two do either. I
Correct.
can't tell
No
you what's
clue.
going to happen in the financial markets. I can't tell you what's going to happen with tariffs. But what I can tell you is that whatever comes our way, we're going to figure it out. And that's because I've done it before, because I can look back and see the wins and know that tomorrow is going to bring an opportunity to get better.
Oh, I love
Powerful.
that.
Yep.
What a closing.
Yep.
And that's just such a positive attitude. And that's what I think a lot of our realtors and our loan advisors need today.
Yep.
And they need to have hope themselves before they can go offer hope to somebody else.
That's right.
True.
That's right. And
So
what we get to do is really, really, really amazing. I mean, we enable and empower the American dream, and there's nothing better than that. So